Hello there. Welcome back to You, Me, and the podcast. And I am joined by my friend Supreet.
Hello, everyone.
First of all, I love you because you have been a number one day one supporter, and I am always appreciative of that. Like literally any sort of business, I'm like, I want to try this. You've been like, yo.
I know, but I think that's the essence of it. Like that's how it should be. Like if somebody from our community or even from your friend circle, we should be their biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If you don't support them, then who will?
Exactly.
You know?
But yeah, so me and Supreet have literally we had like a business relationship. And then throughout literally every time that we'd hang out or see each other, it would be like, oh, like we're talking for way too long. And I
like if you tell me like, oh, come inside and sit. Oh, no, I gotta go. And then the next thing we know, we're like standing outside the door for another hour talking.
Do you remember when I came to drop something off at your house? And I was there for, I was like, nee, andar nahi aana.
Exactly.
Your mom was like, andar aaja. And I was like, nee, auntie, I gotta go.
I'm in a rush. And then an hour after, she's like, andar aaja.
Andar aaja, exactly. I was like, we literally stood there talking for like 45 minutes and just like, and I think that's like one of the coolest parts of like having friends like that, where like, it's never like, oh, we want to talk about this. It's just literally just like, anything and everything is on the table, and you can pick and choose, whatever you want to talk about.
And the flow is so natural, like you don't even feel like, oh, you have to put in an effort into a conversation.
Yeah, and it goes back to like the whole thing of like, you know how like some people you meet and it's like, oh, I feel like I've known this person forever. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt like literally the moment I met you. I was like, oh, I've known this person forever.
And that goes both ways, because you bring that kind of energy, and when the other person radiates the same kind of energy as you, it's easier to connect. So I think that's
like, oh my gosh, yes, I love that.
I found my person. Another one.
Exactly, another one. Come, join us.
Join the crew.
Join the crew. Yeah, so I honestly, like, I can't thank you enough. And now you're here on the podcast supporting.
Thank you for having me on the show.
On the show. Friend of the show.
I know.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. And like I said, it's so hard to find people who are like willing and able to support. So the fact that you're out here, you're like, let's do a podcast episode. I'm like, yes.
Yep, I got you.
Also, I love your voice. Like, I know you don't like your voice, but I love your voice, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such a good episode.
We gotta have a what do they call it? A poll going on, like yes for the voice or no for the voice.
I love your voice. I told you, I was like, I feel like your voice is like very like Sargun Mehta style, and I love her voice so much.
I know a lot of people have told me Sargun Mehta and Rani Mukherjee, two things that I hear. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
I like that. Somebody once told me, because I feel like everybody, like nobody likes their actual voice. Somebody told me, I think it was Diljot. Mm-hmm. Ivana, right? Uh-huh. She like messaged me. She was like, "Your voice is so soothing. I fall asleep to your videos." And I was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, I don't think you meant that for me.
No, but when you and your friend are talking, right? And I listen to your podcast, I'm like, oh, this voice is so nice. Like,
oh my God,
it's calming. It's nice, and there are no like inside noises from the throat. Like it's like a crisp voice.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of that also goes to our sound guy. He's A1. He's got the equipment, he's got everything, and he'll make sure, like, yeah, no, I honestly, that's something that like I was so passionate about, was like the quality of anything that I put out, because I was like, if I want to do this, I want to do this right. And so literally like between me and him, like the audio, visual, everything was like,
you guys are the dream team.
And yeah, so I was like, it'll be good. But then also, like, like living together, doing stuff together, it's like, that's a lot of together.
It's a lot of together. I know it was the same conversation we had like last night when we were trying to, Kajal stayed back and we were planning, how are we gonna, sleep and stuff. He's like, oh, you guys go on the bed and we'll go. She's like, but are you sure? He's like, yeah, it's a lot of together for all of us. It's been like every day. So it's okay. We can do this one night. And
it's like, honestly, yeah.
We were all knocked out.
Yeah. Like my cousin recently got married. She got married in October. So it hasn't been too long, right? And so they're all like lovey dovey, this, that, and the third. And like, whenever we go out, they're like hugging each other and everything. And I was like, wait 5 years. I was like, if you're not disgusted by each other, mera na badal
I know. Didn't you see us? Idhar ghumdi thi, because we're like, okay, we gotta go our own direction at this point.
And I was like, my mom was like, we went to like Nordstrom or something for shopping. And there was like, oh, like gora gori sige, right? And they were both like holding hands and everything. And I was like, tusi bhi na dal dekh ke like na tusi bhi apni June swar lo. I was like, asi akyo pa. First of all, aini garmi. I was like, I don't want to hold anybody's hand, let alone a man's.
It's too sweaty.
I was like, I'm good. I'm so good. I don't need this. And she was just like, come on. And I was like, I'm like,
that's another thing that I think about is like, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ parents, they see something like, because they are now living in these countries and from where they come, like ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, they couldn't hold hands.
Yeah.
They couldn't sit right next to each other or eat together.
Yeah.
They had to be so like cautious of like, oh, pua ji bete, or some
Yeah.
elderly is there.
Yeah.
Or, for them to like see all this like change, like ette kuch se nu kuch haiga hi nahi, you know, like everybody's living their life. So I always wonder like if they feel like they have missed out, because those were their peak years of being married and being together, but it was everybody but them in their marriage.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's also like something, there's like this thing on TikTok where there's like a trend on TikTok that like it goes like be nice to your parents because it's their first time living too. And I was like, oh
yeah.
I was like, even if I didn't want to cry, that's gonna make me cry.
Yeah. And I actually read that too, that it's their first time too.
Yeah.
They're living the life first time. There's no like a set guide that was given to them. Like, hey, here you go. That's how you become good parents.
Yeah.
They just learn as they go.
Yeah.
So cut some slack for parents too. Like, oh, my mom didn't do this. My dad didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they did. Like that
in their own way.
In their own capacity, right?
Yeah.
But there's a set picture of this. Okay, mom should be doing this. Dad should be doing this.
Yeah.
What if they just want to live? They're not just like, bound to being parents.
Yeah.
They're individuals. They have their own personality. They might have their own aspirations, which they were not able to go after. But that's a big thing. Like, just tell yourself it's first time for them too.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think growing up, it's like coming to that realization, because it's like, it's hard when it's like in that, like when you're younger and you see like, oh, Timmy's mom does this, right? And it's like, okay, like, Timmy's mom also didn't like uproot her life and move to a different country. Because like, that's something that I think about a lot, is like around this time period was like when my mom was like literally uprooting her life, moving from India to America, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at least like my parent, like my mom, like knew English and stuff, like enough to like get her by, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, there are people, there are like adults and everything who like literally moved from India, didn't know a lick of English, and they had to like work and whatever. And it's just like, it's such a like sobering moment, I think. Also, like, yeah, like, a lot, like, this will be said that like a lot of immigrant children have a lot of trauma associated with a lot of different things. But I think it's also like a lot of this is also intergenerational, where it's like, our parents didn't have like, they didn't have therapy. They didn't have anybody to like help regulate their emotions, right? They did the best with what they could, right?
They just like giddy up and go.
Yeah.
And I often have this conversation too, like when we say, oh, it's hard for us.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, take a step back. What's hard? Like, you came into a very like well established environment, a safe environment, a safe space, well educated, know how to communicate, you can express your needs and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Go back and think about when our parents came over.
Yeah.
New country, don't know the language, don't know how to get around, and don't know how to get by. Like, no idea at all. They figured this thing out from scratch.
Yeah.
And the environment here is so different than what they're used to back at home. Yeah. And getting used to it, learning the language, and then transitioning not only physically but mentally. Yeah. Like for a mental transition that, okay, in India, they could, stop the kids, do this and that. Now they got to let go, like relax a little, change their parenting style altogether.
Yeah,
like not just country.
That's something that I like always say. I'm like, bro, like if you wanted to keep those values, whatever morals, then you shouldn't have come to America. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like I feel like a lot of parents, they'll be like, well, in India they don't do this. And I'm like, but we're not in India. Like you have to like there has to be some grace from like their side as well of like, hey, like, you know, like especially for us, because like I'm like, you know, seeing like, you know, like wearing shorts, so normal, right? And then like, you know, for them it's not, and it's like, hold on, right? And it's like I'm like, dude, I don't think twice before I put out my shorts, because I'm like, oh, it's so normal, right? And so I think like it goes both ways, but like a lot of people, when they ask me like, oh, like, you know, how'd you like, you know, like build a relationship with your mom? And I was like, honestly, it's a dual effort.
Yeah.
Right. It's a dual effort. Like if my mom didn't make that effort, I probably wouldn't have been able to make the like 110% effort to like have a relationship. But if she was the only one making the effort and I wasn't, it wouldn't have worked anyways, you know? So it's like it's like the duality of it, I think, is really interesting. And like making sure that like you give them like space to just like learn and everything. Like sometimes like now growing up, it's so much fun like taking my mom on experiences that she's like never done before, and I'm like, oh my god, like let me show you, you know?
Yeah.
And she's just like, you know, like sometimes she'll like learn, and like, or like the other day we went to the zoo, right? And she was like, ah, like she had never seen like so many different types of like, you know, like everybody knows like, you know, the giraffe, like, you know, elephant, like Jovia, right? But then there's like, you know, storks and stuff. Like my mom's never seen a stork, right? Yeah. And so I was like explaining to her, I was like, oh, like, you know, storks, blah, 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 whatever. And like, you know, she was like the whole day we were just like she was like, oh, in India, like, you know, hathi, this, that, and the third, right? And like it was such a cool like experience, because like the entire day we both went back and forth like teaching each other things, you know?
Beautiful like bounding time,
right? And it's like that, I think that is when you kind of like that's when you heal like your own inner child, because it's like, oh, like now you're having a relationship with your parents, it's healing to be able to be like, yo, like, you know, like we're both learning from each other.
It's not just like, okay, because we are related by blood, we have to be together. It's like, now you're creating the bond, putting in the effort, and building that relationship, which is emotionally a safe space for both people.
Exactly.
And that's very important in our community. I feel like the mother-daughters are closer. But I feel like because they put in emotional effort. Yeah. Father-sons, I don't want to like say everybody is close or everybody is not close. Yeah. But for people, majority of it says like, oh, the father-son relationships are a little, you know, tighter. Like they're just like, hi, hello, and that's it. Yeah. But then effort, like you said, effort is where it all comes from. If you're going to make effort to spend time with your father or with your son, that's where the bonding is going to start. Yeah. It's initiating the thing.
Yeah. And I think honestly, like even with like just putting in like effort, but like also like finding things that you both like to do, that's been like really healthy for me and my mom, is like if we find things that we both like to do, it's like, okay, like now we can find something that we can do together that's fun for both of us, that won't irritate like one or the other or anything like that. And right, but it's like, it's literally just finding what works for you and like going from there. And like that's always been my thing, is like if you find what works for you, cool, do it, go
then you enjoy it more,
right? Yeah, go fully into it. And like again, like there are things that I like to do. I have 3 little brothers, so like there are certain things that I like to do with each of my brothers that I know would not work for the rest of my brothers, you know? Or like me and my cousin, right? We get along, and we'll like, our favorite thing to do is like try new restaurants, because she has like a super diverse palate. She's a vegetarian, but she has like a diverse palate, so do I. And so like the way we bond is like we go out and we'll go out and like, you know, try a different restaurant, whatever, and then we'll rate it and then we'll talk about it and everything like that, you know? And then my brothers, like, they literally eat the same 3 things over again. I'm not gonna try new restaurants with people who are eating the same 3 things over again.
Chinese,
right?
Japanese, Indian.
No, not even that. It's always like my brother always says, he's like, it's like American, like burgers and stuff, Italian and Mexican, and then Indian depending on where it's from. And I was like, and he's like, that's all I eat.
Well, I get
like,
that at home, so.
And I was like, that's
covered.
I was like, so you don't want to go out to eat? Just say that. You know what I mean?
I know, that's what we were talking about the other day, about this thing, that putting effort into your immediate relationships is very important, because we see a lot of families, like, they're so strained. They are estranged to each other. They live in the same house. Like, we used to hear this in like movies, and people live in the same house, but they don't know each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Because I come from a very close knit family.
Yeah.
Like my sisters, my brother, myself, my parents, like we're very close emotionally.
Yeah.
But when you're out and you live in a different family, or you get exposed to other people's families, you notice that, okay, that's not how these brother sisters are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've always thought, like, okay, we are 4 siblings, right? If my sister needs something, I'm like, you take it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay, you take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you'd like my outfit more than I do, take it. It's okay. Like all these material things, we've never even thought, okay, oh, it's my new dress, I just got it. No, that's never been a question.
Yeah.
Like we're so willing to share with each other.
Yeah.
And on the same page, on the same like time, I'm seeing that there are families who are so estranged, like they don't want to share, they don't want to make efforts for each other. They're like, okay, you're there, but I got to deal with my life.
Yeah. You have 2 sisters and a brother, right?
2 sisters and a brother.
Yeah, so your family's the opposite of mine. I have 3 little brothers, 1 girl. So I never had to like share my clothes.
So you were the spoiled
right?
one.
So I was spoiled in that regard. Like my brother would be like he'd be like, like in a 10 suit melde sanu ek kurta pajama melda. And I was like, there's 3 of you. I don't know what to
exactly.
tell you,
this is the only case where majority does not win.
Exactly. I was like it's divvied up more, right? But like for me, I'm so close to like my non-gay side of the family. Like me, my brothers, my cousins, we all grew up so close knit that it's just like that, where it's like, oh, like I don't, like I would literally give them the clothes off my. If they were telling me, like I get so offended if they come near, like if they come within like a 20-mile radius of my home and they don't tell me, I'm so pissed off because I'm like, how dare you? Right.
And that's also another thing that we are losing. People are not so comfortable anymore having people at their place.
Yeah, no,
that's like a big thing. I'm like, no, the house that you created a space. Yeah. If you can share it with anyone, it's not like you're sharing. They're not going to come live with you.
Yeah.
But you should be welcoming enough for people that you at least know. Because the prime example of this thing is when I talk about COVID, everything happened. We are fortunate enough because we have families. But for people like who are not Indian, like Gore and other communities.
Yeah.
I have this friend, he literally wanted to come to work so badly. Why? Because he was home alone all day.
Yeah.
But he would like half a day passes and I have nobody to talk to, nobody to share my morning with, or just even like a smile, like generic things like at work. When you pass by, like, hey, good morning, good to see you. None of that was there for them.
Yeah.
And that's when they look back and say that, oh, had they had this bond with their family, their siblings, at least somebody would have checked up on them. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And in that, when I think about all these things, these are the small things that we want to be thankful for, and be like cut some grace for them. Okay, we have this.
Yeah. Like, dude, honestly, like when we all got COVID together because we were on a family trip. So everybody quarantined together, but it was cool because
you get it.
Everybody was sick, so literally it was us here, and then everybody at my parents, they were like on they done this again, like jidda marji, right? Because they all had COVID, right?
Like, right?
It's like, oh, like that doesn't matter, right? Like he was like, one of my brothers was like telling his friend, he was like, oh yeah, I'm going over to like my bua's house, or like I'm going over to my mama's house, right? He was like, aren't you like afraid? And he was like, no, we all have it.
Oh, they have it too.
It's like, you know, but honestly, me personally, like this is me just personally, I love hosting, but at the end of the day, I'm like koi na koi aunda janda rahe na, ghar di safai hundi rehti hai.
And though that's why it's like the quick one, like I can dedicate the full day. Okay, today I'm gonna clean. And it won't happen. Yeah. And somebody says, okay, I'm coming over. Okay, the house is getting clean.
Oh my goodness, bro. I do more in 30 minutes before somebody's coming than I do like for days, for weeks. I love like whenever my mom comes or whatever, I love it because I'm like, oh, pure kar di safai honi. I know. I was like, I know I'm gonna do it. If not now,
part
then
of
later.
That I think comes from like, oh, mummy ne auna hai.
Oh right? Yeah. Oh, my mom is so like she does not care.
Like,
Exactly that. She'll open up cabinets. Like I was telling my neighbor, right? My neighbor's American, and she was like, I was like, oh, I'm like cleaning. I'm like so stressed. I'm cleaning. My mom's gonna come over, right? She was like, you're cleaning because your mom. I was like, it's like you don't understand.
Oh, you have
I was like, mom's gonna open up the cupboards, be like, right? And again, it's all in love because she's just like, but she's just like, just mummy and hundaya, right?
Dude, it's just like I remember all day, like when I was in India, mom would be like, "Kaisi bazaar chal rahe, right? They're going to the market." I'm like, "Oh yes, full day of really like chill, karange, kuch nahi karange." And then they would call us like, "Okay, we're headed home. Do you guys want to eat something?" I was like, okay, where are you? Like, I would ask her where exactly she is. And I'm like, okay, it'll take her 30 minutes to come. I'm doing dishes. I'm folding laundry. I'm cleaning my room. Everything.
Up so fast. I know.
And then by the time she's coming, I'm just doing some random chore. She's like, "Meri potni ta sara kam karta." I'm like, yeah, I did. And all I did when she was gone was, or good.
Exactly. Dude, I literally, like, when I was younger, like, I literally, like, after school, I would come home, whatever, right? If my mom was going somewhere, I would literally hear, like, the garage door open. Then I'd be like, oh my God. Right? And then she's like, fatafat, right? Even now, sometimes, like, if, like, if he's coming home or whatever, like, I'm like, okay. Like, like, whatever.
But then, I mean, we laugh about this thing, but if we tell about, like, say, for example, you're sitting with, like, a psychologist or somebody, like, oh, you are traumatized.
It's like, that's probably a trauma response. But here's my thing, right? It's like, if a trauma response, like, makes my life easier and better,
yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm okay with it.
I can go through that 10 minutes of anxiety attacks and get my place cleaned rather than not have any and have a dirty place.
Oh, dude. Okay, so we had like one of his friends came, right? And he's from Australia. And so like they like surprised attacked us, right? Like
Australia.
First of all, let me paint the picture for you. It's like 4:30 p.m., right? I work from home, so I am in my pajamas constantly, right? I don't. Why would I need to change out of my pajamas? Even if I take a shower, I'm gonna put on a new pair of pajamas. 'Cause I'm at home, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in my pajamas, like my hair's all a mess, like I'm like nothing on my face. I have pimple patches on my face, right? I'm sitting inside, and I'm like my like all of my work stuff is like just strewn about, right? And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, like whatever, right? And he calls, he's like, "Hey, yo, they're outside," and I'm like, oh,
and not even like they're gonna be here in 10 minutes. They're outside.
And I see, because this guy's, he's like 6'8", right? So I see like in the room, I see him like walk past, and I'm like, oh, there's no way. I run outside, bro. I'm pajamas, bro. I look disgusting. I run outside. I'm like, oh my God. And in my head, automatic, like he's chilling, he's talking, whatever. In my head, I'm like, the house looks like a tornado flew through it. So I'm like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, you guys, because like I'm already like my mind is like firing at all pistons.
Yeah,
go, right?
Now it's like the closet flashing in front of your eyes and the bed sheets, and
I'm like, yo. And so then I'm like, you know what? You guys just chill, whatever, right? I was like, it's gonna take you like 10 minutes to like walk over here. And I was like, oh, you know what? I got it, because like one of the guys like was like really afraid of dogs. I was like, you know what? I gotta go put the dogs inside, right? I come in, I slam the door shut. I am throwing things. I am like, literally, we had like trash we hadn't taken out. I'm throwing things into the trash. I'm like tying it up. I'm like, just like, the dogs are looking at me like I'm crazy. And they're like, you have lost your mind, lady. Like, you're gone.
Like, no, bro, you have no clue what's happening right now. I am
literally grabbing piles and like throwing them into the laundry room, right? And I'm just like, okay, right? And I get it down, whatever, right? And then I'm like I had like made I'd made something to eat like the night before, and so like, you know how like sometimes like the smell lingers, right? And I was like, oh my God, like I feel like the smell is lingering, right? So I'm like spraying everything down and everything, right? And Panic. I'm like, I literally, and so they've now made it up to like the little
corner,
like the little passageway, right? And I'm like, so I'm like, okay, everything's good, right? I turn on like the little thing, I turn on the AC, because I'm like, bro, like it's hot, right? And so then I open the door, I'm like, hi.
Was that enough time to fix yourself?
It
Any
was
pimple
like
patches?
no. I still look like absolute garbage, but I was like, okay, the house looks good.
The house looks good.
That's enough, right? And then I'm like, oh, like like Ajo, like Gianu, whatever, right? And like the guy's like 6'8", right? And like I'm like looking at our door, and I'm like, he sees Johnny that we've never even seen before. Right? I was like, he's probably looking like, cause like his eye line is literally
his eye level is different.
And I was like, oh my god. I was like, "Aaj puri besti hogi," right? They come inside. I'm standing right in front of the gate because we hadn't taken out the trash. I'm like standing right. I was like, so, tadi cha pani ki seva kari?
Tada safar ke andar ya.
Right? And he was like, oh, I just want some water. And I was like, okay, good. I was like, I can do that. Right? And then I was like, does he khana kiya? And I was like, knowing damn well there was like nothing in our fridge. We literally had to go grocery shopping that day.
Hey, you offered.
And so I was like, फिर ना क्यों मेरी भाभी ने सेवा नहीं की थी, वैसे दूरों आए हैं, right? And I was like, okay, and thankfully, like, they weren't hungry, so I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, तुसी like कुछ और पीना? I was like, कल्ला पानी, right? And they were like, नहीं, ऐसी ठीक है. Like, yeah, वो भेजे बच्चे. And I was like, okay. And so then, like, they're like talking amongst themselves, and I'm like going to check on the dogs. I literally I threw them into the bedroom, and I like gave them I literally emptied out a whole bag of treats. I was like, go.
Like,
and so they were like just like chewing on their little chews, and I was like, okay. And then I literally stood in front of the mirror. We have like a little mirror in front of our like sink. And I stood there and I looked at myself and I was like, I look like this. I was like, sorry, I got a and I look like this.
But I don't know who gets ready in their house. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, even my best friend, like, she FaceTimes me. She's like, you are such a, what they call it. I can't find the word.
I mean, my mom just calls me Beisharam.
That's not the word, though. Catfish. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
She tells me, like, you're such a catfish. Like, if anybody from work finds you this way, they're going to think, like, somebody else is trying to impersonate you.
Exactly.
And
your identity's been stolen.
I'm working on your behalf because there's no way you're the same person that shows up at the office.
Bro, we went on where I met all of my coworkers. I met all of my coworkers on like a retreat when we all went to Mexico, right? So like the entire time I was outfits, everything, makeup, hair, everything done, right? And so a couple weeks after that, we had it was like a company wide or like a department wide meeting, right? And I didn't realize that it was gonna be a camera on meeting. You know what I mean?
Oh God!
And so I literally had my hair up in a bun, and I'm like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, so Jazz, can you turn on your camera?" And I'm like,
"What?"
I'm like, okay. So I'm like pulling down my bun, and I was like,
I'm not gonna lie, but I have pulled that thing once or twice because again, I was in a horrible condition. It was like an early morning meeting.
Yeah,
I'm like,
ready
please
for
don't do that.
Yeah,
but and on top of that, there weren't cameras on. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then what I did is I'm trying to like, the camera icon is on, but the little slide thing on the laptop.
Oh yeah.
So they could see my fancy background. They couldn't just see me. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, let me turn it off. I know damn well what's going on.
I know exactly what's going on.
They're like, that's okay. It's okay. Technical issues. God bless technical issues.
Honestly, I get away with so much under like the guise of like technical issues. Like if my camera's not working, if my mic's not working, whatever. I'm like, oh, technical issues. I don't know. Also, like I'm like they use Teams for everything, and I'm like not super familiar with Teams. I'm like more familiar with Zoom, so I'm like, how do you do this?
Yeah, we use Teams as a priority mode of communication. We transitioned from Skype.
Oh, really? Dang.
I know. I was like, I love Skype. I'm not going anywhere. But now it's like, it's been 3 years already, 4.
Yeah. Honestly, I love it. I love honestly from my MacBook camera because it's just so low quality.
Yeah, like you won't be able to see.
You don't
the
see
whole
my
high definition.
You don't see my under eye bags. Like there was like we were testing out a camera, and I was like, why do I look like that? And he goes, because that's how you look. And I was like, oh hell
my God. Like, no,
I was like, that is not how I look. I was like, that is not how I look on my Snapchat camera. You
I did the same. I asked him like, oh, how do I look? Or how does this thing look? He's like, you want a husband answer or you want a honest answer?
That's so real. That's
I was like-
honestly so real.
And I'll tell him, I'm like, I think I know the husband answer. Give me the honest one.
Exactly. Just be nice. Like sometimes I'll ask him and he'll be like, "Oh no, like you look great." I'm like, dude, cut the bullshit. Like we're here. Okay. I was like, you got the girl.
I know.
You got the girl. Just be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, that's honestly been like something that where I'm like, see, like I like having people sugarcoat things because my family is just so brutal.
Brutally honest. Yeah, like I don't need it. But honestly, I think the families always are. But you don't need because if I need an honest opinion, I'll ask my mom or my sisters. Like they would tell me honestly. Now, if they say something, that means they're right.
Yeah.
And then if I ask the same thing to somebody and they say something otherwise, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're sugarcoating it.
Yeah, honestly, like when my mom gives me like a genuine compliment, I'm like, oh. I was like, आज मैं ज़्यादा ही सोनी लगती है. I was like, आगे मैं सोनी लगती थी, आज मैं सोनी लगती है.
Yeah, my mom said it. Like, don't even talk to me today.
My mom is such a like whenever I go out and like my mom will FaceTime me or whatever, and she's like, "Tu hot packing outside?" I was like, yeah, like I'll be again. I live in my pajamas. Like I have literally like he bought me a pair of pajamas that says pajamas all day, and like literally they're the comfiest pajamas. And like my mom would be like,
why? I know.
she'll be like, "तू जो बात है तंगी ना उन्होंने कहना तेरी मम्मी ने कुछ सिखाया नहीं है," and I'm like, literally nobody's thinking that.
But honestly, this is a huge thing. Like, it's funny how how it came up because I do talk about this with my friends and my family. Like, we put so much effort in getting ready. Like even if I'm going outside, like say I'm gonna do a grocery run. I am not gonna go like, okay, I can wear my pajamas, but I'll still put myself together.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like lately I've been seeing this trend like, oh, this is what they're doing in Europe. This is what they're doing in Germany.
Yeah.
In context of fashion and dress up. That because you don't want to, people are not putting in effort to look good.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, somebody who does put in effort, they're kind of glorified for doing it.
Yeah, it's like oh, you always
you're
look
too
like
extra.
That. Exactly. And I'm like, go find less.
I know.
Go find less.
Oh, you're too much. You're too extra.
Yeah.
And then when we were in school and we were just sitting, a group of friends, like all boys and girls, and this goes, the one of my random friends, she's like, oh, you two should date. You guys are so cute together. He's like, nope, never. I'm like, I'm offended.
What
Why?
do you mean?
He's like, no, Dick, it's very hard. One, you're pretty. It's very hard to deal with all the boys and stuff when you have a pretty girlfriend. Two, you're too high maintenance. I'm like, define high maintenance. He's like, oh, you want to go to shoppings and places and stuff. I'm like, what makes you think that I would do that? Just because it's the way you dress up.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, wrong. No.
That's not.
So that kind of tells you like how much people judge from the way you look.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't, because you're like put together or you have put effort in your outfit or you're looking good, you're high maintenance.
Yeah, that's honestly something I've tried to make. Like that was a goal of mine this year. Is like like go out in my pajamas a little bit less, a little bit less. I feel like I do it like if I'm going like here's my thing. If I can get back to my house within 20 minutes, I'm not gonna try because literally I'm going to the gas station, I'm going to Trader Joe's, I'm going to
when you're not gonna be encountering anyone like for a longer time.
But if I'm like if it's gonna take me like an hour to get home, okay, I'm like okay, I'm gonna put on something like decent, right? I'm gonna change out of my pajamas, right? And then like if it's like okay like makeup and everything, I feel like is it depends on like the vibe or like whatever you're going for. But like honestly like a lot of people would tell me like, oh, you're so extra, because I like in the summertime especially, like my favorite thing is to wear dresses. I'm always wearing dresses because they're so easy. You put
it's
on
just one piece of clothing.
Exactly.
Like I find it so hard to like put effort. Like okay, if it's a bottom, then I have to think of a color, a style, a combination. If it's a dress, just put it on and leave.
You're good. You're good to go.
And you don't feel hot either,
right? And so
like,
that's why
God,
honestly, it's my favorite thing in the world. So I'll literally live in dresses, right? And so like people will be like, "Oh my God, you're wearing like a dress, like a sundress," and I'm like, "And."
What
like,
about it?
Yeah, like, and it's like there's like this whole like TikTok trend about like romanticizing your life and everything, right? And I'm like, dude, you should, because life is so short. Like, yeah, like you have to find the beauty in like the small things, and like the beauty in like just like the regular everyday stuff, because it's like life goes by so fast. Like, dude, I mean, I haven't seen you in 2.5 years, which is wild to think about, because I feel like I saw you not that
Like,
long ago for your wedding.
It just feels like we got married yesterday. I'm
Right.
like, you'll still find me watching my wedding videos, and my nephew's like, not again.
Not again.
I'm like,
Oh my
dude,
God.
it's not been that long. He's like, it's been 3 years. I'm like, and then it hits me. I'm like,
Yeah.
3 years. Like, that goes by so fast.
It goes by so fast, and it's like, okay, like, that's why, like, I love dressing up. My dad was like this. Like, he would love to get dressed up for like no reason at all. Like, he would get dressed up and like do like tie a bug and everything, like suit, tie, everything, and then go outside like in front of some bushes like that they had like near their apartment, and he would have my mom take pictures, because like that's just the type of person he was, right? And so like I think my mom's like kind of like, she's always wanted us to look like, like decent. She's like, you don't have to do it, like do it up every single time you go out. But she's like, but honestly, like she'll do it to my brothers too. She'll be like, "Idna jana baar." Like she'll be like, "Apna huliya dekhiya."
Many like it, jana.
Exactly, that's another thing.
Yeah, many like it.
My mom would be like, "Many like jana scene dal jaye mere naal." But that's
Bro,
what
the kind of roast brown parents have done over ripped jeans.
Oh my God, dude! There was somebody who was like, "Oh, like me to paise la ja, tu na navi jean khareed," and I was like,
I know. I had one where like there's like a lot of threads coming out of it at the bottom. One of my tayaji goes, "Tere piche kutte paise." I was like, I have no comeback for any of this.
I've heard it all. I've literally heard it all of like, and then like, I feel like everybody should own like just a plain, like, like regular pair of jeans that like, and so
strictly when visiting the Brown parents.
Well, that, but like, but I was wearing like, and like, they like roasted me to bits over like these jeans, right? And so the next time I went, we like were going out somewhere, but like somewhere nicer, right? Where you can't wear ripped jeans, right? So I was like, okay, I'll just wear like, these jeans, right? And they were like, payana jean,
Sari pant.
right?
Sari pant.
Sari pant, exactly, right? And I was like, dude, panty. I was like, and then I was like telling, I was explaining to my mom, because we went to the Levi's outlet, and she was like, why are the ones with rips more? Like, why are they more expensive, right? And I was like, mommy, they have to like, their machine
make it first and then rip it.
I was like, machine na huniya, they make like the dogs and everything, and they were like, she was like,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, because I feel like people are looking back onto like 80s and 90s, and then even like online when you see on the social media, the girls are trying to go back onto this trend, you know? Like, what was it? Like a 80s era.
Yeah.
And then mob wife and whatnot, like all sorts of trends coming out.
Yeah.
But if you look at the way the people used to dress up, it was like a little bit classier, nicer. Like, I get the comfort. By all means, I'm a big, person who is like, okay, comfort first.
Yeah.
But again, there has to be a line that we need to draw.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this can do, this can't.
Yeah. Dude, I remember I was wearing like a denim jacket, right? I thought it was so hot because I was like, oh my God, like I got a new denim jacket. I like put like
who are you?
I put pearls, like, like they have like those pearl, like denim. I put pearls on the collar, right? Ooh. But it was like distressed, right? It was so cute, right? I wore it and my stepdad was like, he was like, tu aap prani ji pa ke jane jacket, and I was like,
you're like, I put in so much effort.
I was like, namiya. I was like, wait, tenu kitna samjhawe, namiya.
I don't know, man. I don't understand those distressed clothing. I don't.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun depending on like where the distress is. You know what I hate is like the like when jeans are basically like falling, like they're literally hanging on by a thread. Like I saw this pair of like jeans at like Hollister. Like, you know how like some distressing is like, okay, it's cool, right? But these jeans literally,
they were really
they were, when I tell you, it was like literally like the panel was like just strings and there was like a whole panel. I was like, if the threads, first of all, I have really big thighs, so like me breathing the wrong way would just cause it to unravel.
Oh
And
god.
I was like, and then on top of that, the 3 strings that are holding it all together, once they go, it's just gonna flap open.
Like,
I had a pair of jeans like that where it literally was like that, and I was like, I think it's time to retire them because they don't go together anymore. And I only got to wear them like I want to say I only got to wear them like a few times because I was just like, oh, like this is
it's like you
it.
paid so much more for them to not last long.
Exactly, right? And so like that's why I like getting like just regular jeans, and then if I want that, then I'll like put in slits and then I'll wash them and then they'll start to fray. And then it's like, okay, like, you know, you can control how much it is.
Like it's like these days it's all about like fast fashion.
Yeah, that
So
too.
people don't want to invest in good clothes. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I might just wear it twice and that's it, done with it.
Yeah.
Like those. Then there are people who are like, you know, focused on capsule wardrobes.
yeah.
They're like, oh, I want to wear this with multiple styles, multiple ways. Pick your poison kind of thing, because quality's been compromised. So.
Honestly, the person that comes up with like the capsule wardrobe for the Indian girl in Indian clothing is gonna be a genius. And I die on that hill so bad.
yeah,
Because dude, I have like, my mom will always be like, whenever I tell her, I'm like, oh, I just want a plain like white like an anarkali or like, you know, whatever. She's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, it's just plain, like nothing on it, like plain, just literally it's like Darjino ko jidda like bibiyan da
Kapda
sina
leke
hunda, right?
sindo.
That's literally all, like no piping, no nothing, right? But then like when I'll start wearing, because like I have like a lot of like floral like dupatte and stuff, right? Then when I start wearing it, my mom's like, oh, I get it. She's like,
I
hold
see
on.
your vision now.
I see it, right? And my mom's like, oh my god, this looks so good, this looks so good, this looks, and literally that one anarkali turns into like 7 different suits, right?
Yep.
I'm like, yes.
Like you could wear that with a black dupatta and then with floral for the daytime and mendi te chalne yellow or green or something.
Exactly, right?
It's like
And
a
I was like,
reusable thing.
I was like, you got to get on this, man. You got to get on it. Like the
But-
simple suit with like, you know, a nicer dupatta. Because like, honestly, to me, like it's so much easier to store chunia than it is to store like a full
Different
suit. You know
suits.
what I mean?
Yeah. But I think the struggle for the Indian girls is like colors.
Yeah, that too.
We like colors.
Yeah.
So we can't just say, oh, I'll have one blue suit and then I'll wear this different chutney with it. No, that's not going to fly.
Dude, honestly, like I started to get colors that were like closer. First of all, I want to get, like, me personally, I want to get my own colors done because I feel like that's going to make such a huge difference. Have you seen
like
the
those
whole,
color analysis
right?
stuff?
I
Yeah.
want to, okay, it might sound gimmicky, but I feel like it makes a huge difference because I've started to notice like I can't wear like certain oranges because it washes me out, right? And I'm like, yo, you know,
And it is actually a thing. It is
Yeah.
the colors, the wrong color if you wear, then it just makes you look drained.
yeah. And so I was like I've gotten like colors that I feel like look really good on me, and then I'll get them close so I can still switch out. Like for my cousin's wedding, instead of like buying a whole new suit, I literally like I had like a sharara that was like plain, and then I had a chunni that went with it. But then like I had another suit that I'd worn at somebody else's wedding, and it was kind of like a dressier, like, you know, like kameez, but it was like a little bit lighter. But like the contrast, it looks so good put all together, and I was like, oh yes. And I was like, I didn't have to buy another suit. This feels so good.
It's like mix and match.
Yeah.
But while we're at it, like that's also a big thing in our like community lately. Like, oh, ini isu, like, is she repeating the outfit?
Yeah.
I'm like, they're trying to bring back the idea of yes, repeat
Yes.
the outfit.
Yes,
it is a good
please.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
please do it.
Yeah. No, I tell my mom all the time. I'm like, or my mom tells me all the time. She's like, "Oh, you could wear that because somebody said like we're I went to Michigan and I wore like this brand new, like for an engagement. I literally wore this brand new like sharara suit, right? And then my mom's like, "Oh, wear it for your cousin's like one of your cousin's events." She was like, and I was like, "That's so true."
Yeah, I do that all the time. Like if we have an event on Saturday, Sunday, and if it is two different groups and two different people,
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same
Exactly.
outfit because they didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Exactly.
I'll wait a day for posting the pictures.
Exactly. And my favorite thing is like even if like I have suits that like I've had like for 3-4 years, and I can like, as long as it's been like a year or so, people forget, and so then I'm like, okay, I can
Put it
rewear
back.
this, right? I can rewear this, or I can wear it in a different way, you know? I'm like, okay, like, you know, no one's gonna realize,
repurpose,
right?
yeah.
No one's gonna realize. And so like I honestly love doing all of that, and I've always been one of those people, like even when I was younger, like I would always like mix and match all of my suits, and my mom would get so irritated because she's like, what are you on about?
Badi manish malhotra.
not even because like I like when I was younger, I felt like a lot of like, you know, like the 3D suit. The 3D suit was like super popular, where it was like 3 different colors.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
This is like
I was thinking something coming off of a suit.
No,
okay.
this is like 2012 to like 2016. It was like super popular, like the 3D
like 3
suit,
colors.
right? 3 colors. So like I had one that was like white, like the kameez was white, the chunni was purple, and then the salwar was green or whatever, right? And so literally that was the best time to mix and match because you could literally wear whatever, however. And when I tell you, I literally I think I only got like a couple new suits that like in 2015. I think I only got like 4 or 5 new suits, but I made them last
Like I made
so
100
much,
out of them.
bro. But it's so cool. Like I've always been one of those people that I love that kind of stuff because it's just like, you know, put your own little spin on it.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. And I think not everybody's able to do it. You have to have that creativity and that mindset to do it.
Yeah.
Because I have seen people simply struggle. Like even if they have 2 outfits together and that dupatta goes with the other one, they can't see it because it's just not their head. They think, okay, this goes with this and this goes with it.
My mom gets so caught up in that. Like she'll be like, no, that doesn't go. I'm like, put it on.
Watch.
Put it on.
Watch.
I was like, tode samne ye hoga, right? Like she'll be like, nee, that like the piping hoda, this, that. And I'm like, once you put it on and then you put your jewelry or whatever,
it settles down.
It's like no, it's gonna look so good. Just believe me.
Believe me, yeah.
Just
you're like, I can see it before you can.
Exactly.
So just do it.
Exactly. Like my my masi for like my cousin's wedding, she like had 2 different junia, and she was like, oh, like, you know, how, like, you know, which one should I wear? And I was like, you should wear this one because it goes better. And she was like, nahi, bade hor suit naal diya. And I was like,
why is it an option?
I was like, Masi, she was like, I need that rang, yeah, you know. And I was like, Masi, just trust me on this. All right, you guys, that is all that we have for today's episode. We are most likely gonna have to split this into 2 episodes because it has been a lot.
It's too much content.
So you'll have the next part soon and real soon. You guys can find Supreet on
Instagram
at
Undo101. Tag me.
Yeah, I will tag you. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share, do all the things that you would do if you liked a podcast.
If you were the real one.
If you are a real one, do all the things. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or JioSaavn, please don't forget to follow, give us a 5-star rating, and rate us. It really helps out the podcast and the algorithm. And we will see you in the next episode super, super soon. Bye.